Hello friends, those back pages here. I hope you're well. I was asked by a couple of folks to give my opinion on this latest cleaning thing. Cleaning, altering, however you want to look at it. I guess I'll go over that a little bit. I got some mail here, not very much. Like many of you, I'm struggling to not only find the stuff I want, but actually obtain it. Whether winning it in auction or buy it now with reasonable pricing, however you want to classify that. But here we are. I think it was earlier this month. I guess one could argue the number one card in the current Prism NBA basketball release was pulled out of a pack. Victor Wembanyama. I'll try not to say that name again, just call him Victor. Some of us affectionately call him Chumbawamba. So far he looks to be like the real deal, but it's 80% through his rookie season. So tomorrow never knows, as John Lennon once sang. But the person who submitted the card to PSA did a live reveal, I suppose, in Collector's studio itself, in their office. And it was revealed that the card was given a grade of a PSA 10 gem mint. And either the owner of the card or one of the two fellows that were there gave a super shout out to Kurt's Card Care, which is a relatively popular, in the grand scheme of what it is, product for people that clean cards. It's like a home kit, like he sells a home remedy kit, however you want to, with pastes and waxes or juice or whatever is in it. Emery boards and microfiber and all that stuff. Evidently, I don't know, I never looked into it. So there was a lot of uproar, and PSA came out and said that they do not allow the cleaning of cards with substances, chemicals, whatever. And if it's discovered that a card was treated with such a thing, it would be either altered, slabs is altered, or I guess I've heard other people say that they've banned people from submitting for being allegedly using that stuff. And it was just interesting to see that the submitter, which is evidently a very large breaker, was boasting about it in their office on record, on video. And so a few people called for the declassification of the cert number on that Victor Black Prism 1 of 1. There's a lot of debate going on about the centering of the item, but that's, it's weird to see people say, oh, PSA 10s can't be off-centered. Well, they can be, and that's always been the rule, but that's another topic. So, how do I feel about that? I just, me, I am sell 10s, collect 9s type of fella, type of collector. And that I am a staunch believer in grading, but I definitely know grading has flaws. I don't think you should clean your cards. If you want to wipe down the surface, if there's like a fingerprint or something, of course, that's fine. But then it gets into the, this particular, this or that particular product, they'll remove print lines and indentations, and that, to me, that's where that's bad news. And a lot of people are saying, well, you know what, the manufacturers are releasing this crap quality control product. Well, that's just the way it goes. You know, if everyone was, if not everyone, but if most people weren't so obsessed about having, it's got to say Gem Mint 10, you know, people would probably enjoy the hobby a lot more. I've heard people say, well, you know, when you sell your car, you wash it first to get a better price on it. Well, yeah, it's not the same. It's, I guess, would you know, if you were, again, I'm not a car guy, but if you were to replace like a fender or side panel and you don't tell Carfax and it's not on record anywhere, and then you sell it as brand new, you know, well, or original, or however the terminology goes, but, you know, that's kind of cheating as well, isn't it? Or they'll say, oh, well, they restore art all the time. As it's restored, it's you know, it's lauded, it's cheered on, or it's accepted. You know, and now, all right, fine art, sure. You're talking about everything's a one of one. You know, and it's known, it's disclosed. It's not cards, you know. It's not cards, and you know, there are a lot of people. You know, we don't know what this polish and all this other stuff is going to do to cards 10, 20, 30 years from now that are already graded. And I guess, quite honestly, I think the people selling them, they don't care. Which is fine. It is what it is, right? So, I don't think you should clean your cards. I think you should be proud to own your cards. And if you choose to have a third party grade your cards, let them grade your cards. You know, it's you know, again, the slippery slope. People hate grading, people love grading. In between, they realize its importance, its presence, or however you want to phrase it in the hobby. So, you know, that's just a brief, and it's funny because this was a main, before I close it out on that, before the pandemic, which was about 4 years ago to this day, 4 years ago this time, when the world shut down, you know, there was a big thing, and I think most people that are still participating in our channel here, my channel here, have been around a long time, so they already know this, but there was a huge thing called Slabgate back in 2019, really gaining steam, and of course, you know, the pandemic and money killed that. No one really cared anymore. You know, there was a faction of folks involved in the hobby that were championing the restoration of cards, conservation. I don't remember the exact terminology, but they were trying to make it perfectly okay to trim cards, clean cards, make cards look better than they actually are, for the purposes of more monetary gain. So, now, and I think this was probably spurred on about, I got a package in the mail today from ComC here, and you know, there's a lot of talk about ComC, and their shipping practices have gone back to pandemic times. ComC is a great resource to pick up 50-cent cards or e-pack cards. I bought a bunch of Tiger Woods e-pack cards for, you know, 50, 75 cents a piece. And those are not in this package here because, you know, I placed that order for delivery and it's about 3 months out. Yeah, that's not it's going to ship in May, I believe. So that's not a typo, and it's not, I'm not alone in that. Most people that are choosing to, you know, I think it's a 96 card order, and it's, you know, economy, which is $4.99, which is great, but it, you know, if it's going to ship in May, you can get it much quicker. Like this one, I placed, you know, this shipped out on the 14th, and today is the 19th. But there's 5 cards in here, 1 slab and 4 raws. So it's $4.99 and then 50 cents for each additional card. So $7 to $6.99 to ship that. Now you can do that. There's no value determination that you must have a card worth X to qualify for this. It's just that it's $4.99 for the standard shipping and then 50 cents for each additional card. Kind of like the old days of ComC, where it was a quarter flat rate, whatever it was, plus a quarter more. And we're talking 10, 15 years ago for that. But so if you want your ComC cards faster, either you buy them through eBay or you select, standard shipping of $4.99 and then pay for 50 cents for each additional card. Now the cards in this package, and there's a total of 5. Like I said, 1 raw and 4 raws and 1 slab. And I kind of wanted the slab. I picked it up a while ago, but it was time to have it shipped home. So, before I get to that, I've got 2 other pieces of mail. And let's see the best way to I'm always talking about friends in the hobby. So the person I consider the number one, and no one likes a title, but the number one collector of non-sports, pre-war non-sports, in my opinion, is Andrew Nuff Said Cards. And he and I, we speak privately, and he sent me a text message and said, hey, he knows I collect Beethoven. He sent me a text message and he goes, hey, do you need these 2? I picked up these 2. Do you need these 2 Beethoven? And I said, I need one of them, but I could definitely, I have no problem with dupes. So depending on the price, I'll take both. And he says, well, just give me your address. He wouldn't take my money. The power of friendships in the hobby that I preach so much about. You can't buy friendships on eBay. So here are the 2 cards. They arrived safely. It's the 1908 Stolwerk Beethoven, which I've shown before. There's a copy in the stack going to be graded at the National this year. So there's another one that's going to the stack, and here's a 1898 Stolwerk. So 10 years older than the prior one, and I had lost out on an auction of these, the composers. There's 6 cards in the composer set, and all the usual suspects of the time. But I didn't have this one, so he gifted this to me. Thank you again, Andrew. Your friendship means a lot to me. If you do happen to have a chance to meet Andrew at the National, and you have pre-war historical questions, he is the person to speak to. And I'm gonna proudly get that slabbed up at the show. And unless CGC gets their act together, it's probably gonna go to SGC, just because of the baggy issue, which I've spoken about many times. So earlier I guess it was last week now, about 2 weeks ago, I won an auction for a Beethoven that I had only ever seen one other copy of. And I own that copy. My friend Don, the show and me, he found the raw copy, had it graded. We had it graded, and it came back in SGC 2. So this one, this PSA 2, which normally I'd be a little turned off, but there's a crease going right there. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but it doesn't matter. The centering is good on this. This is only the 2nd copy I've ever seen of this card. It's the year out. It says 1902 Ogden's new series. And as I mentioned, I believe in the last, collecting historical cards, this is probably my favorite Beethoven card. just because it's probably as close as a picture and you're gonna get. It's not, obviously, but brooding, and it's a little, he was a brooding fella, and you see it there. But this one does have a little backstory. It was marked as delivered, so I had checked the mailbox and it wasn't in the mailbox. It was this in another card, which I probably should have dragged out, but we'll do that next time. Yeah, so I thought it was gone for good. Lo and behold, it was one of the neighbors, who I don't know, had left it evidently in the mailbox. So I'm very happy to have that. It was purchased. It was a relatively inexpensive purchase, less than 2 blasters of chromium. And something like I mentioned, this is only the second one I've ever seen, raw or otherwise. So happy to have that also in a PSA 2. Player blank back. So the mail. Okay. I've spoken about it. We're just going to rip it open and deal with. I was surprised this was not shipped in a box, because as I've mentioned to you guys in the past, that it gets shipped in a box if you add a slab to your order. But I guess they put the slab in its own bubble mailer, which is nice. It's my first graded copy of this card, at least for now. And of course, you've got the array of ComC stuff that they give you. They're always putting more stuff. I guess they didn't have did not have a proper bag for this size slab. It's not it's technically, I guess technically it is an oversized slab, but here it is. Sorry about that. I forgot about all the ComC junk they put in the packages. But here it is. It's the Beethoven's first card. It is in a baggie. I mean, what are you gonna do? I've seen this card in other SGC slabs, not in a baggie. But again, what are you gonna do? I hate the baggie, but I'd rather have the baggie than no card at all. And first graded copy. As I mentioned in my last couple of videos, I have other copies of this card that will be graded. They're already in the stack. 1893 Liebig. Just it's 131 years old. You stop and think that this card is 131 years old, and it was less than 3 chromium blasters. It's just a matter of I guess technically now he could go back there, right? Glare is annoying as I knock everything down. That blue tape is not holding anymore. Behind the scenes, there's some blue tape holds the American flag up, but there we go. Now he can take his place back here. And oh yes, the raw cards with the random assortment of ComC junk, which is all over the place. Okay, a bit of a mess behind the scenes, but yeah, we'll talk about these a little bit. Why not? The first one is this 2013 Lincecum Topps Chrome Sepia. Now back then, the Sepias, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, there it is, numbered to 75. Now there are 2 per blaster. They used to be, now they're very common. They've been very common for a long time, but there was a time where these were numbered to 75. It's 2013. This is probably it is my favorite, Timmy image. And so, picked that up. It was a little less than a 24 Series 1 blaster for a card that's 11 years old and numbered to 75. Still, I wouldn't say, I don't know. I go back and forth if I like the sepias. Obviously, these early ones are very tough to find because they're numbered to 75. But I'm not sure on this, if this goes to the stack yet or not. We'll see. There's 3 more. They'll go to the stack. 2018. I'm a big fan of everything 2018. And I picked up this Kershaw gold refractor. It's got some shine to it. That's definitely going to the stack. I think Kershaw now is going to finish his career out with the Dodgers. Pretty much done what you want to do as far as the pitcher goes. I'm not a big pitcher guy, but definitely a bigger fan of Kershaw than Scherzer and Verlander. He happens to be, played his whole career with the Dodgers. Here's a gold refractor, numbered to 50. Ohtani, Acuna, Soto rookie year. I know Soto's not in that release, but still 2018. Good to have a Topps Chrome. Well, a Chrome gold. Let me rephrase that. A gold refractor numbered to 50. Ideally, Topps Chrome would be number 1. Those are a bit pricey. And then it's debatable. Bowman Chrome finest. And I put Bowman's best in the rear as far as quality goes. But finest and Bowman Chrome probably a little bit better. If I have to put them in order, would be Topps Chrome, Bowman Chrome, gold refractor, and then finest. This one I'll have to look over, but I know, you can't really see too much when you look at ComC scans. But again, it's another Kershaw. It's from 2020 Topps Series 1. It is the Topps Black, which is numbered to 69. On the back, it's got a little ding-ding over here. A little imperfection that I won't be cleaning up. It is what it is. This card is pretty scarce to find. I was fortunate enough that the seller of this put this on sale. So this was the same price as a 24 Series 1 Topps blaster. This hobby-only product. I mean, the Topps Blacks are hobby-only. So, these are, Topps Blacks are tough to find. Especially non-subset cards. There are a good number of all-star cards, league leaders, checklists. But to find their base cards, very pain in the ass, to be honest with you. I'm having a difficult time. These are the 2 things I'm focusing on now for baseball players, is a gold refractor numbered to 50 and a Topps Black. And as I've shown in the stack pile, they're just tough to find. I'm just happy to have them when I can find them. And, being totally honest, the assigned grade, not that it's not important, but it should not be the focus that people tend to put on these things. Excuse me. So the last card for tonight, and shout out to JT for sending me the link when this got posted on ComC, and it's a 2018 Topps Update Independence Day Ichiro. Just a big fan of this card, as you know. They're numbered to 76. This is 67 of 76. You just don't see these. First year of the parallel, 2018, Independence Day. They've kind of lackluster over the last few years, but this year's, from the internet views, they look good. I haven't heard otherwise. Haven't seen one in person yet, but this is the first year, and they're numbered to 76 every year, so that's not changing. And 2000. This is from the 2018 Topps Update release, which is very popular. And these cards just, I haven't been able to find anyone but Ichiro yet, and it's not from lack of trying. It's just they get locked away in collections. Player collectors, team collectors, set builders. It's tough to say, but I think even in 2018, someone was probably making this parallel set, and you can see why, because it's just a great looking card. So I hope you have a great experience with your hobbying. I think I've touched all the bases I want to touch for this episode. Again, I appreciate your time. Be well.